What's up, everybody? It's AmmaJamma here. Welcome to the inaugural edition of Live Trading. We'll be here every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday morning from about 15 minutes into market open for about 30 minutes, and then we'll hop on over to Premium Discord to continue live trading. That's where you'll get the big bangers, those options chats, those type of things. Because this is my first time streaming live across multiple platforms, please let me know in the chat or in YouTube comments if there's any technical difficulties with any of the platforms, because this is the first time I'm doing simultaneous. So let's get right into it. What I figure we'll do is we'll go over a couple of the top runners of the day and the SPY chart before we have market open. So we have about 15 minutes for that, and then we'll go from there. Let me pop this down like this. There we go. Okay, we've got our main screen up on Webull. I will use Webull for all this. Let's check out a couple of the top runners of the day. I like to flip between our 1 minute, our 5 minute chart, and I kind of do just the first things that strike me out, and I'm going to pop some lines on there. The moving averages I have up for this. I don't necessarily always use moving averages, but when I do, I'm going to use the 8, the 13, the 21, the 55, the 200. I don't like the 5. A lot of people like the 5. It's too reactive for me. If you're scalping, I mean true scalps, where you're looking to get in and out 0.5% or so, sure, the 5 works. But for me, it's a little more day trade versus scalping for a lot of it. So I like to use the 8, not the 5. So immediately you saw I popped this trend line down at the bottom here. That's one thing I'm looking at, and we're looking at this double top. So immediately what I'm thinking is at market open, if we get a strong push in a candle above this 1503 wick high from today, we could get a nice little entry on there. So kind of what we would look for on a chart like this is the following. We would look for that impulse move from our high here. You can see we have a pretty nasty candle right here. We want to see that impulse move. We want to see us up clear this 1503 with that candle starting to flicker, the nice volume in. I don't know why my volume's not up right now. Let me find my volume. Sorry, guys. All right, there we go. And I'm actually going to close the RSI. It's not necessary for this. All right, here we go. So we want to see something like this happen. Let me pop back on the line I had. So my poly line, we want to see an impulse move up over this 1503 and then a retest and a hold. If we get that, that's our entry. That's what we're watching for. Here's our sweet spot for the chart number 1. And this is going to ebb and flow as we go on, guys. I'm going to find out what works, what doesn't work. Please be patient. Give me feedback. You're not going to hurt my feelings. If there's things you like or you don't like, let me know. So if this is SHE and you're an equities type person, let's watch for this box for our entry on the retest. But I do want to watch the SPY. That's one of the biggest things I do want to look at before market opens. So let's pop up our SPY and look at our levels for today. And these levels will hold true for a good part of the day. So, all right, cool. I could see you guys all commenting. So obviously we're all good on YouTube. I'm hoping and praying that we're all good on Facebook as well. I know Tyler is someone to let me know if we're not, or Nikki. So, all right. So our SPY, I'm going to pop on the 15 minute. We're going to do a couple relative levels. I'm erasing everything from the last few days so you guys can see what I'm looking at as I'm looking at it. All right. So big tell here is we bounced right off that 200 on the 1 minute. So we're going to pop a line right there, very first line we're looking at. That tells me if we lose this area and we lose it with authority, and then on top of that, we come down and lose this level right here, which would be, that 384.89 type area. That would be where I'm pretty bearish. We're at 387.64 right now. That's quite a sell-off right there. So, and then obviously our 55 tends to act like a resistance and a support. So let's pop a line where it's at right now, even though it will vary a little as the market opens. So those are 2 lines we're looking for immediately. And then after that, I like to look at 2 weeks, on the 15-minute chart. So we've got some pretty clear levels here we're looking at. We're our bottom here and our relative high of that 393 from yesterday here. Oh, sorry, that line didn't save. So those are immediate areas. But I know, Amy, that doesn't matter for me because that's, $5 away from where we're at right now, of course. Totally understand that. So for immediate day trade scalp purposes in the market open, what we're looking for is that high of pre-market, because we can see it's a major resistance. We hit our head on it multiple times on the 15-minute, pretty much all of pre-market. We couldn't get over that area and it held true here. And now that 55 is catching up to that area. So that's exactly what we're looking at. And we're talking about those 5 steps of trading. Don't forget, guys, we don't want to necessarily take an entry on the first impulse. We want to wait for the retest. Of course, if you're a quick trader, you trust your trigger fingers, you've got your hotkey set up, stuff like that. You're good to go. But in general, especially for newer traders, wait for that impulse move, because here's the rule of thumb. If we don't come back and retest something we break impulsive out of, oh well, we'll come back to it next time. There's 500 other stocks we could look at, this and that. I prefer to wait and reduce my risk than to immediately jump in and not. I'm not perfect at that. Of course, I'm putting out trades. If anyone that knows me on the Discord knows that, I put out trades immediately a market open. So a lot of times it is that quick, expected impulse move on that. So these are the areas we're watching. We're watching for a breakup over that high a day, and your quicker move is going to be right at that break. If we see some volume coming in, of course, those type of things. And I think this is the chart today we're going to watch at market open. I'm not sure yet. I've got 9 minutes to decide. A lot can happen in 9 minutes. So I'm going to look at a couple other trades that have been interesting to me. And the first one is Roblox. Roblox is one I personally love to trade on the options side because of the volatility of the contracts. We get really nice movement. Let's delete it all. Let's find some new lines for today. So kind of the same thing here. We've got this little you can argue bull flag. It looks a little bit like a bull flag. The pole is definitely longer than the flag. So let's line that up here. So we've got I don't want that line. So let's look at these areas here, and this is where we're going to watch on Roblox in the open. We've got our bottom line and we've got our top line. Anything within this, we don't really want to mess with. If we see a very, very strong bounce at market open off this low line, if we get that sell off those first 5 minutes or so, and we get that pure bounce off this low line, even if it wicks down below and comes right back in, I like it for a bullish entry there. And same thing for this upper level here. So those are a couple charts. Now let's try to see if we can find a trade these last few minutes. Let's look at the top runners of the day and see what these have going on right now. All right, so obviously we can see the very first one here. We are testing that area right here. So what do we talk about? We want to see that break up over. We did get that wick, but do you see how this is why we talk about that retest? It's actually a perfect stinking example, guys, because I said we want to break over that wick and we want to see that retest. That's kind of where we're at right now. That's what we're watching. You can see how these two candles right here had that impulse move out, but then bull trap city, that's the trap right here, because you can see truly where this is exactly what I'm talking about when we want to wait for that retest. Because look at that. Sure, we wicked up, and if you're quick enough to make that scalp for $15 to $15.39 for what, 2%, fantastic. Most people aren't that quick and not going to be able to do so, especially if you're watching this stream. You're still learning, you're still growing. We're not necessarily expert traders. So especially pre-market, because we can't do our market buys and sells. So that's why we want to wait for the retest. If we get another strong candle back up over this box and we demagnetize ourselves from this box. So say, 1510, 1512 as an entry here is what I would like. Maybe 1514 to be a little more safe here. I don't necessarily believe we're going to get there. So, that's something to watch here. And we'll go from here. So we could get a little bit of sell off here. Obviously, we want that 8 to cradle us. You could see just losing the 8 was very bearish movement, and breaking that 8 was very bullish movement. Oh, a couple things that aren't used to me or the Discord. You're going to hear dogs barking in the background. I have 2 little yippers. I apologize ahead of time for that. You're going to see him on the couch behind me over here digging. You're going to see all sorts of stuff. I could hear him yipping right now. So I apologize for that. The candles right here I actually do like. We're holding up. We've got some nice wicks here on the bottom. We've got a lot of indecision. Volume's not really there. So for me, if this volume starts to kick in and we can break the volume of this candle right here, I think we start pushing. If we can't get that, I think we start dumping, and we could get a really hard dump into market open. So we're going to wait and see what happens with this one here. So yeah, we're watching this for a couple minutes. I'm just going to pop through a couple of these just to see another one that is interesting. This 200 MA hold up here. So immediately what I'm looking at on this PRE chart is our trend line here, along with a breakout of above that VWAP. Let's watch that area in the market open right in this box here, clearing this box with volume. That's at least, I'm talking at least double these candles coming into market open. So we want to see our volume candles up in this area here. That's what we want to see in general with this one. So we'll pop that box here. That retest, you're right, board. That retest will get you every time. I absolutely agree. So that's what we're watching here. Let me pop back. We'll watch these charts. So we're still in that consolidation area. We could sit in this area, honest to God, the next few minutes in the market open. A lot of day traders are a little hesitant to take that trade. That first couple minutes in the market open, it can be very, very sketchy setups. You know, one thing with day trading, if you're a newer trader, you're not going to miss out on a trade if you don't get in on that initial pop. And the longer we trade together, the more you're going to realize I prefer that second pop. I prefer that second run up because it's the cleaner run up and you get to use your fibs to test it. And I'm not going to get into that today, but I'm giving you a little taste of what we could talk about in the future because we'll get through all of it at one time or another. There's a whole lot to learn. All right. So if you took that riskier entry, we're kind of taking it right now. I personally did not talk through this trade, but I will take this trade, but I will talk through this trade. I've had everything going on. I got to pull up my Webull on another monitor to start buying and selling here. So if you're in a trade like this right here, if you're taking it at that wick right there, right around that riskier price, anything that loses this area here, let's pop that, make it red. That's where we're going south. That's where you want your stop loss. I like when I'm alerting in the Discord, I have to give percentages or certain areas for stop loss. I love being able to live trade because I could show you areas for a stop loss. We know if we start to lose this support right here, it's not looking good. And we know we want to clear and break up above these wicks. So we've got some established area here. We want to give it a couple pennies too of breathing room. We want to be up in this area here to establish that we are getting that breakout. And anyway, what I was saying about those last couple minutes, a lot of more experienced day traders kind of don't really touch the charts these few minutes if you're not already in a trade and doing some continuation, because the sell-off can be so harsh and quick at that first couple candles in market open. So, you know, all right, so there's our wick eye, there's our impulse move at 15.12 already popping up to like 15.30. It's only 20 cents, but remember folks, with scalping, here we go. Here's 3% right there, just on that candle. So if you took it at this wick and you took that entry, this is what scalping is all about. 15.80. I mean, beautiful. So we just had 5-6% on that candle. I know a lot of you, unless you had a limit sell set, did not get 15.80, but that's it. This is exactly what I'm talking about with these impulse candles and when you want to take that entry. Do you see how the volume started pouring in? Because this candle just started. You see how that volume poured in and we got that massive pop the second we finally broke this area of influence. I'm sorry, not influence. Support that we had, how beautiful that pop was. And it's one candle, of course. So, you know, it's easy to miss the sell. It's a perfect example of what I'm talking about there, because you could get 3 to 5% just on that candle right there if you were quick enough. But that makes me feel like we might dump at market open. Be very careful on this one. If you're not in, I wouldn't touch until we're up over 15.30 at this point. I don't like how quick that sold off. It didn't sustain. I wanted to see it kind of stay above this wick high. I wanted to see it stay above this little wick right here, and we didn't do it. So that makes me a little sketchy, a little worried we might dump. We've got 1 minute to market open. You know, have those hotkeys ready. I've got my Webull on another monitor. I'll slide it over here. I've got my Webull on another monitor for buys and sells. Hopefully in the future, I'll do the active buys and sells on the same screen with you. I'm just a little nervous about that day one. As far as my contracts for options, most of those I do Robinhood because it's a really simple platform to use. All right, so we've got two charts here we're kind of watching. First one, I don't feel safe taking this anywhere below this wick high. As you can see now, it's trying to dump a little bit. So if you're setting to sell 15.45, I'm not touching it below that. PRE is kind of selling off right now. We immediately lost that 200, which we were hoping to see a cradle on. So now what we're going to do is we're watching the first couple candles, especially when we get that long dump off candle like this, and then that flicker back up. A lot of times this is where you get that candle that immediately pops right back up and turns bullish. However, when you get that flicker down and then it flickers even lower down like it's doing right now, don't like it as much. And I'm not the first candle, of course. I'm talking second, third candle. That's what we're watching for. So if we pop back to this one, we're still in indecision here. I'm a little more bullish now. We didn't immediately dump. So let's watch this one. We could get that nice pop on this one. Interesting to me. I'm going to keep an eye on I've got a few different charts on my other monitor as well, because I don't want to miss the stuff that really does pop. And as we keep going here, guys, we'll get better at this. So, but for now, we're just kind of dipping our toe in first day. All right, so this is what I'm talking about. Now, this is where, obviously, I'm still not going to touch in this area too. I would like this above, like, say, 304. When we could prove we push 2/3, and this is my little trick, 2/3 above that sell-off candle. So that's about this much. I want to see it push at least that 2/3 within a minute or two, or I don't have faith at all that it pushes back up. I'm not wanting to take this immediately on that first candle. And for all you watching that want the big boy trades, want those options trades, when we go to Discord, we're going to do some options live trading. Don't you worry about that. Anyone who is interested in options live trading, right at the bottom of my screen right there, you can see Discord GG Penny Boys. That is where you can go. You could join premium with the code Amy30. You can also go to pbalerts.com and use the code AmmaJamma. I'm sorry, Amy30 for 30% off. That's where we'll be doing a lot of those home run trades. I'm not trying to tease you. Just that's what they pay me for, is to give those big trades. We like this. We like to see that engulfing candle here. We're getting that flicker. I still want to see us up in that area there before I would take an entry, maybe $3, 305 right there is where I want to see. And if we immediately break back up over our high a day, our technical high a day of the three candles, over that 310 in the next minute or so, I feel pretty strong we get to about 320 on this one. This one's still kind of this. I don't have much faith on this, to be honest. We couldn't sustain volume. Candle 3, we're already down at the volume of pre-market. I don't like seeing that. That's my dump off point. Like I had said with this candle wick right here, when we did that and we didn't sustain and we had those next couple candles, I didn't like it. I felt like this was going to happen. That's why I'm glad we were more cautious. We saw that, identified that, so we knew at market open, let's raise that green box up some. We're not touching this trade below 1540. I have, you know what? It's really strange for me not knowing what my big boy blue chips are doing right now, to be honest, guys. So we're going to watch that. So this wick here, another thing I'm not liking with this chart, we have all wick at the top of this candle, which tells me that there was a lot of selling pressure as it was trying to push. But we are trying to come right back right now. So we're watching that. We will see what happens. We get a little volume here. I feel decent about this one. I'm still not touching below 305 to 308. Safer entry is going to be 308. Let's see the other charts here. All right. So this one's a little interesting here. So this one I would say I like right about, say 30.307 is where I'm taking an entry on this one. So actually like right here, which we're about to break over right now. I like an entry on that. So that's another one we're watching. Do you see where it's, there's a method to the mayhem as to why you're noticing we're hitting our head now right exactly where we want to make that buy, just below it. And that's why I always put it up a little higher. Don't set that buy exactly at that level. Set it a little higher, QLGN. All right. So, okay, this one does look interesting too. We've got a little double bottom here. Let's see what happens the next couple candles here. If we could hold that support, even if this wick does go lower, but immediately retakes that 55 right here, I still like it. And yes, I day trade equities on the 1 minute chart, and I flip to the 5 for continuation. I want to see what these candles are doing. They tell a story with the movement. They tell a story with how the candles, just behave in general. So that's something for me. I like to watch. Let's pop back all right, here we go. All right, so if you had that entry set at 1540, you are in the trade and you are slightly red right now. We did get that wick that broke over our green here. It didn't stay there, so we'll watch this close over the next couple minutes. With this, I'm keeping it super tight. Our red box, we're out. You can lower it a little bit. I don't want to lower it too much. I would say right around that area is where we would be out of the trade. I'm still not thrilled with the behavior of this chart because the moves we are getting, the little bit of pushes we are getting, have been to the bearish side, which is right here. And you've got to be really careful with these wicks like that. I know I had said, if I was watching this, I would have said, we want to wait for a candle to clear up over our green zone, but technically we did wick out of it. So if you were following me to the T with that exact thought, then you're in the trade. So we're going to watch this. I'm not going to move away from it, but I don't like it. That wick and immediate rejection is, and on top of everything else, this rejection, immediate rejection here. The only thing I do like is if we hold that 1440 and stay above it at that point. All right, so PBLA. Let's watch this here. So for something like this, what are we watching? And if we don't catch a trade today, guys, that's fine. We will catch trades. This is day one. I really feel like it's critical to give you guys a couple of the do's and don'ts to have success. We're going to be doing this 3 days a week. And I told myself from the beginning, I'm not going to force trades. All right. So I want to see this pull back to our box here. And at the minimum, to this line here. I'll give it a little bit on this side right about here. This is where I'd prefer to see us pull back to in order to feel like we get that second leg continuation. So even if we're not live on the air anymore, if we pull back at least to 15.159 and then sustain and push back over it, that's your entry. That's your entry. So we'll watch that one. Let me see. All right. So this one dumped the way I expected it to. No surprise there. This one I want to see pulling back. That's exactly what we want to see here. So let's watch its bounce. Let's see what it does here. So we want to see this bounce. We want to see it ideally come into this zone here and then start to push with some nice volume. I mean, really, I'm on the top gainers list, and we've only got 3 that are above 45%. It's a little quiet today. Then that'll happen. And these type of days, I am sticking with the equities right now. We're going to ship to some options trades in Discord. But in the future, I will definitely be doing options trades as well. There's just so many different things I feel like are so critical to teach as we do this. So there's my entry. That's what I like to see. Like that 0.164 would be an entry here. I do believe that we could break higher high here. If we could get back up over, say, 0.1775, which I'll pop a line on in the next 2 to 3 minutes, I think we break high a day here, no problem. And I'll explain why I drew this box, where I drew the box, everything else. I like this candle flicker. The volume's relatively low with a nice green candle. I like what that's doing right there. I also like that these 2 sell-off candles were a little lower volume, and now we've got that nice green candle with the volume. So that's the combination we want to see for a really strong push into that high a day. This is a nice, 5% candle there. If you took that trade with me, even if you popped up a little higher, 2-3%, we're in and out. These are day trades, guys. We're scalping. It's quick. Some candles, immediately will dump off. Be ready for that. Those type of things. But I do feel okay about this trade right here. And then super tight stops. If we're taking 2% stop profits, we're stopping out at 2% as well. We get down to this zone here, we're out of the trade. And we'll come back. The smaller box, not the bigger box. That needs to be white. There we go. All right. And again, I know we haven't found anything great yet. We're going to go into the Discord next and we will do options trades. It's not only about making the money and forcing a trade. And that's just the reality of it. All right. So let's keep looking. This, I actually do like this, like 290-ish area. If we break up over this 290 area, that's where I would like an entry here. We'll put that bar here. So that would be my entry here. Vine just blasted. up over our zone for entry. If you had your entry set to what I gave it at this box right here, exactly where I gave that entry of 0.305, you're up, you know, 10 to 12% in those two candles. One thing I'm going to ask you guys, all right? This is really important too. I need to know if you prefer, and tell me in the comments, because like this trade's a perfect example. I gave that line. I said above this line, we're taking entry. If you sat on that chart yourself, we are up 15% there. I put the box down. I said, I want to see us break and clear it. We had the true push. Do you want to pick one or two max stocks and stay with those the whole time in the morning? Or do you want to flip like I've been doing? That's where I need to know what you guys want, and I will do what you guys want. But there's no guarantees even that way. We might not have had this as one of our top two picks. If you did and you took that entry, you're up 10 to 12, 15% right now. It had a true push from 0.305 to 0.3541, which is, you know, 12, 13, 14%. However, I did not get an entry on this trade because I wasn't on the chart. Some of you might have, but please tell me in the comments on YouTube, Facebook, in Discord, what you prefer. If we pick one, maybe two, and we focus on those levels, or we flip between 3, 4, and 5, and I give you the entries. I really would love to know what you guys prefer in that situation, because then in the future, then you've got your charts and you could choose what you like the most, you know. And with this one, it was 15 flip. Okay, perfect. That's good to know. First couple said flip. And I think that is good because you can find the charts that you like. And, you know, we'll go through like that. Hopefully a couple of you did get in on this one. That'd be fantastic. That's what we're here for, of course, to make money. I'm also here to teach you guys. Because day trading in general is so critical and so important to have a rigid discipline. I mean, that's the thing, guys, and that's what's so critical, and something I really, really want you guys to internalize more than anything is two things. For you, this is beautiful right here. I wish I would have set that limit by when we were talking about it, because this might keep running for a couple minutes here. So if you did get that trade, scale out of all but like 10% right here, you're sitting at about 15%. That's what you're looking for right there. And you can see, I love it. And this is picture perfect. And this is day trading right here. Do you see the volume pick up? And then we hit our head, have our nice, beautiful hammer candle. Not quite a hammer. It's not a 3-to-1, but the turnaround candle right there on super, super low volume. This thing is literally screaming. If we get volume, we're popping. Do you see? This is the epitome of like, this is like, for me, this is like being at the symphony listening to violin. This could not have been more picture perfect. This is the passion. This is what I absolutely freaking love, is this beauty. You could see it with the volume. You could see it with our turnaround candle on super low volume. And now the volume's kind of falling off a little bit, and we're getting that turnaround candle. We might come down here. So what are we watching now, Amy? When do we know if there's continuation? Let's pop our fibs on there. Just super short fibs from our low a day to high a day. Let's see what happens. We might keep breaking right now. I'm just popping this on in case we don't. This is not valid if we don't continue. But if we do start to fall off, that's the zone we would be looking at. There's 20% on this trade, folks, right there. 5 minutes, 20%. I truly, truly hope that you guys got in that one, because that was picture perfect, beautiful there. All right, so now here's our sell-off. We'll right at the, that was a nasty sell-off too. So this is the area we're watching. Let's see what happens. Let's remove our fibs, keep our charts nice and clean for you guys to see. So let's see what happens with this box here. If we get strong support pickup here on relatively low volume, it could be rinse and repeat time. This was a strong push. A lot of times when you see these pushes like this on really nice volume, what are candles here? 2.5, 3 million volume. Yeah, this is nice volume as well. I do believe this is one that hangs out towards the top of the list all day. Vine's one we've traded before. We know how it likes to move, you know, things like that. So let's pop through these ones we had charts on while we go. All right, so here we go. Now we're going to pop on SHC. There we go, baby. Let's push that 1580. Love to see it. Love to see it. Look at that go. This is what it is, guys, right here. Love it. Now we want our support to be here, or I don't like it at all. If we hit this double top and couldn't even get that 1580, couldn't even sniff it, we're still 20 cents away. If we can't have this bottom of this green box as our support, I don't like it anymore. This one's been a little sketchy for me. We need the pickup right now, and there it goes. All right, now we need that strong impulse move over that 1580, like strong, where we could trust it. Whew. Oh my gosh, it's already been 30 minutes. Guess what, guys? Everybody here that's not part of the Discord, go to pbalerts.com, use that 30% off coupon to come join us today. Amy30 is the coupon. I am ending the broadcast here. I will be in the lounge in 30 seconds. Goodbye. See you guys tomorrow.